Cricket is where we begin on the SportsMax zone. West Indies drew first blood in the 5-match T20 International Series against India, winning the first match at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy in Tarouba by 4 runs. Captain Rovman Powell top scored with 48 and was assisted by vice-captain Nicholas Pooran, who stroked 41 as the Windies posted 149 for 6 in their 20 overs. Yuzvendra Chahal and Harshdeep Singh took 2 wickets each for India. With India chasing a target of 150, Guyanese pacer Romario Shepherd followed up his 2 for 33 with a brilliant final over to restrict the visitors to 145 for 9 of their 20 overs. Tilak Varma was the best India batsman, scoring 39, while Surya Kumar Yadav made 21. Player of the match, Jason Holder, picked up 2 for 19, and Obed McCoy, on his return from injury, claimed 2 wickets for 28 runs. The series will move to Guyana for the second T20 on Sunday at Providence. Lance and Mariah, 2 for 19 for Jason Holder. That brilliant final over from Romario Shepherd pointed to as an important part of today's contest. But I really thought that match was won for the West Indies in the 16th over, which was bowled by Jason Holder. A double wicket maiden for him, an over in which he got the wicket of Pandya for 19. Beautifully bowled delivery as well. And then a superb run out coming from Kyle Mayers, and a maiden wicket from 113 for 4 to 113 for 6 at the end of that over. And I believe that is where that game turned today, because up to that point India seemed very much in control and on course for victory.
Yeah, they looked in control, especially because the total that West Indies set was 149 for 6. So for me, that would have been a walk in the park for India. What I loved from the West Indies today is the fact that despite putting up a low total, and I will say that is a low total for the conditions at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy, West Indies bowlers went out there, and we also saw some brilliant feeling, Ricardo, from the Windies team. And I think that has a massive... We have to talk about that, because what we've seen from the Windies in the other formats, ODI and Test, is sloppy feeling, drop catches and all those different things. So today I have to say it was a total effort, a complete effort from the Windies team, because we had contributions in different departments. I agree with you also that the match was won when Jason Holder came in. I remember Lance, because Lance was in a meeting, I was in a meeting too, but we were doing everything at the same time. Watching the match and in the meeting at the same time. And I think Lance heard when he got the second wicket. It was 2 for 8 at that time.
That's right.
And
yeah.
Lance was like, oh, Jason Holder, because of course for some time, Jason Holder has not been as effective as we would love to see from him. Yeah. But today we saw that, and I think, as I said, complete effort. It just is it's refreshing for us as Windies fans. I'm sure it's very refreshing also for the Windies team, and it's a good note to start the T20, which I think the West Indies players really enjoy.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mariah, that 150 target was not all that challenging, certainly on paper for the Indians looking on. But the West Indies team worked hard and got the rewards. And as Ricardo pointed out, India appeared on course to achieving the target. But Jason Holder in particular was not only a wicket taker, but he was economical. And I think after 3 overs, he had 2 for 9. And he did really, really well. A great start here by the West Indies team. We've always been bothered by their lack of consistency. So they have 4 more matches to play. And we'd just love to see the West Indies play as well in the remaining games as they did today.
Yeah, and, Jason Holder said it, that with a team like India, you expect them to get 150. But it was clear as well that the West Indies had a plan. And there has to be something said about the captain, Rovman Powell. And I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but it's becoming clear to me that Rovman Powell has this ability to motivate the men he leads. maybe even more than we've seen from other recent West Indies captains. We've seen it with Rovman Powell at the regional level. We've seen it with him at the franchise level. And since he's taken over as West Indies T20 captain, getting a series win in South Africa was a massive deal and a major performance from this setup. And they come here against India and win the first one-day international. And he leads from the front as well with his own performances. Today, I thought his innings, clearly along with the knock from Nicholas Pooran, were instrumental in getting West Indies to that 149. But what was impressive for me, especially with Rovman Powell, was the way he played the spinners, the way he was willing to use his feet to Kuldeep Yadav, that I think we've been asking for. Why aren't the West Indies batsmen utilizing their feet a lot more to the spinners? And Rovman Powell did that brilliantly today, and he produced a wonderful knock that essentially gave the West Indies a chance in this game. And then to back that up with his leadership. And Mariah's right. Mariah spoke about the intensity in the field. Today I saw a lot of energy out there. Everyone was diving around. Shimron Hetmyer with a couple of brilliant saves in the offside early in the innings. And the pressure was put on India. They got 4 relatively early wickets. And then at the back end with that 16th over from Jason Holder, changing the direction of the game, and Romario Shepherd finishing it off. So you have to give credit to the West Indies, but for me specifically to the captaincy, the leadership of Rovman Powell.
Yeah, 48 of 32 balls, 3 fours, 3 sixes. For me, I was looking at the match today and thinking to myself, I think Rovman Powell does well under pressure. And I say pressure, I use that word meaning responsibility. He likes responsibility, because I found that when he is the captain, he performs a lot better than when he's not the captain. And, you know, today when I saw him come out on the field to bat, and he recognized, because when he came out, we would have lost Brandon King, Kyle Mayers, Johnson Charles. The total at that point was really little. Rovman Powell recognizes that he had a job to do. And I agree with you, Ricardo. It's because of him and Nicholas Pooran that we got to that respectable score. However, I would still like to see better from these two players, because getting to 40s and then losing your wickets in the manner in which they lost it, I felt as if we would have put on a better, bigger total if they would have just, you know, because the wind was a major factor in today's match. Of course, carrying the balls wherever it felt it wanted to carry it. I felt as if the players should have been able to read the wind and hit the shots accordingly.
Well, I think sometimes it's tough, and I think especially with today's surface, it clearly wasn't the most conducive surface for stroke play. And Nicholas Pooran and Rovman Powell and the majority of this West Indies batting lineup are big hitters of the ball. And therefore, when you get a surface like this, it can be difficult. And it showed when India got out there as well that nobody was really able to get in on this surface. And so I think you have to give real credit to both Nicholas Pooran and Rovman Powell for the way they played. And as you see, as it turned out, they ended up being the top scorers in the match, not just in the West Indies innings. And it was Pandya, it was Hardik Pandya who said it as well at the end of the match, that he was asked whether if India had batted first, if that could have, I guess, changed how things went on. And he essentially said, no, listen, we have a young team, and when you have a young team, these things happen. We felt like we were in control for most of it, and we lost it at the back end. It's a learning experience, and we come for the next match.
I want to hear you, Lance, on Shimron Hetmyer.
Well, I'm a Hetty fan, as most of the viewers would know, so I'm a little disappointed with his batting returns recently. I did make the point earlier that he had not played a lot of cricket after the IPL ended, so I'm not sure how match sharp he is, but he took some good catches today, which usually good catching is a sign that, you know, your eyes are in and the hand-eye coordination is going. So I just need to see him start getting some runs. When he came out to bat, immediately a very, very fluid cover drive that looked at class written all over the shot. but he didn't stick around for too much longer. So I hope Hetty can get his act together and deliver in the way that I know he can.
Yeah, I got some numbers today. Not that I needed to get them, but since I have them here on my phone, I thought I would just look quickly. Shimron Hetmar, since his return, 11, 9, 4, and 10.
Yeah.
4 innings, 3 one-day international matches and 1 T20 game. And you want more from Shimron Hetmar. He's just returned to the team, so some would say give him time. But you expect a little bit more.
You saw the cover drive today when he just
far.
came in, though. Fluent. Between cover and extra cover. Hetty. Top man.
But you can't just be given cover drive.
No, I agree. I said that already. I just need to see him getting runs because he has quality.
So does Kyle Mears. So does Kyle Mears.
Kyle Mears, that's a very special cricketer. Very special cricketer.
He was dismissed for 1 LBW.
He is an excellent cricketer, Kyle Mears. And clearly a particular role has been given to him at the top of the order. And that is for Kyle Mears to go out there and take the bowling on. But for me, it can't be with reckless abandon. You still have to assess the conditions match by match. You still have to figure out when you get out there what are the best shots to play on this wicket. And my concern sometimes is that there's a reckless way about how Kyle Mears goes about constructing his innings, if I can use constructing, because sometimes I feel there is no construction with his innings. And I just feel he has so much talent and so much ability. And he is, for me, Kyle Mears is the most aesthetically pleasing batsman in the West Indies setup. And I would just love to see that a lot longer when he goes out in the middle.
That's for sure. He has shots.
Yeah.
Real shots.
He has shots.
You know what was pleasing today? That run out from him.
Oh, that was brilliant.
So good.
Yeah, he has shots. We have a break. Let's take it.
Shots.